Corbyn.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I've given notice to the Speaker's office and to the Honourable Member for Ashfield of this point of order that I'm raising today. And I'm referring to column 95 of Hansard of Monday, the 12th of May. And in an intervention on the Minister in the debate on border security and immigration, the members claimed that more than 600 illegal migrants have entered this country today. They could get up to all sorts of mischief, commit crimes and maybe even acts of terrorism. Does she agree that these young men crossing the Channel should be immediately detained and deported, along with the Right Honourable Member for Islington North? Does she agree with me that this kind of language and innuendo, inaccuracy, is unbecoming of this place, is not fit to be uttered in this building, and that members, when they speak in Parliament, should show respect for each other rather than risk bringing our whole political process into disrepute? I've no problem with debate, but I do think people should not stoop to abuse and fundamental inaccuracies and conjecture, as the member for Ashfield did, and I've so informed him already.
I am grateful to the Right Honourable Member for giving me notice of his point of order. I understand that he has informed the Honourable Member for Ashfield that he intended to refer to him in the Chamber. The Right Honourable Member has put his point on the record. While I am not persuaded that anything unparliamentary occurred in the debate, I would remind all members that good temper and moderation, in the words of Erskine May, should be the characteristics of parliamentary debate. I would encourage all members to act towards each other with courtesy. Point of order, Kim Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I have given prior notice about my point of order to the Speaker's office. I seek your guidance on a matter concerning procedure relating to the ability of members to hold the government to account. Yesterday, I attempted to table a question relating to the use of RAF Akrotiri by Israeli bomber planes, but was blocked. I received the following response, and I quote, "The government has blocked questions on the use of military bases." The reasoning for this block was given as an answer from the Minister to a similar question tabled by the Right Honourable Member for Hayes and Harlington on the 4th of October, with the Minister responding on the 14th of October. Since then, 6 questions have been tabled relating to the activities of RAF Akrotiri during this time, all without obstruction, and they all received timely answers from the Minister. Under this new ruling, all would have been ruled out of order and automatically blocked, yet they were allowed to be tabled. Given the importance of transparency and parliamentary scrutiny, particularly in matters of defence, this raises serious concerns. Operational decisions must not be taken on an ad hoc basis to impede the ability of parliamentarians to scrutinise the decisions of government. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, can you please advise whether it is in order for the Table Office to decide to block legitimate questions in this way, and what recourse members have when attempts to scrutinise and debate government policy and activity are being blocked? Thank you.
I thank the Honourable Member for her point of order. The Honourable Member should raise the matter with the Table Office in the first instance. I can, however, advise her that the Minister for the Armed Forces, in response to a written parliamentary question on the 14th of October, indicated that the Government would not comment on any foreign nation's military aircraft movement within UK airspace or on UK overseas bases. It is not the Table Office but the Government that has blocked questions on this specific subject. Other questions about activities at RAF Akrotiri may nonetheless be in order. I would advise her to talk to the Table Office, who are always happy to help. Point of order, Kay Mather.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I'd like to say that I've given prior notice both to the Speaker's office and to the member concerned that I intend to raise this point of order. Madam Deputy Speaker, yesterday the Honourable Member for Boston and Skegness appeared on Channel 4 in his role as the Deputy Leader of Reform UK. Filming in my constituency, he called into question the future of our local power station and therefore the hundreds of jobs it supports locally, something that I know will cause real anxiety for constituents in Selby. The honourable member did not inform me that he was coming to Selby, or that he intended to use our industry, our jobs and our local communities as a political football for Reform UK's national agenda. So, on behalf of workers in my constituency, Madam Deputy Speaker, I would like to ask how I am able to prevent this happening again, and how I might relay the message that if the honourable member wishes to push his anti-worker, anti-jobs and, quite frankly, anti-Yorkshire agenda, he can do so from his constituency across the border in Lincolnshire.
I thank the honourable member for giving notice of his point of order. I understand that he has informed the member for Boston and Skegness that he intended to raise it. As he and other members are aware, paragraph 44 of the Guide to Conventions and Courtesies states that members must inform colleagues in advance when a member intends to visit another colleague's constituency, except for purely private purposes. All reasonable efforts should be taken to notify the other member, and failure to do so is rightly regarded by colleagues as very discourteous. Point of order, Iqbal Mohammed.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Following on from the point of order from my right honourable friend from Islington North, the comments made against him were absolutely disgusting and disrespectful. These words that we use here in this place can have direct consequences on the outside and can impact the security of members. Will the Deputy Speaker advise what steps can be taken to hold members to account for the language that they use in this place, so that it is respectful at all times?
That is not a point of order, but the member has placed his comments and his feelings on the record. We now move to the presentation of bills. Presentation of Bill, Secretary Heidi Alexander.
Sustainable Aviation Fuel Bill.
Second reading, what day?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Presentation of Bill, Sarah Olney.
Victims of Rape and Serious Sexual Offences, Free Access to Sentencing Remarks Bill.
Second reading, what day?
July the 11th.
July the 11th. Presentation of Bill Carla Denyer.
Energy and Employment Rights Bill.
Second reading, what day?
4th of July 2025.
4th of July 2025. We now move to the 10-minute rule motion. Bob Blackman.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I beg to move that leave be given to bring in a bill to make provision about compensation for equitable life policyholders affected by regulatory maladministration and for connected purposes. Madam Deputy Speaker, most members of the House will know that I have been campaigning for the last 15 years for proper compensation for equitable life policyholders who lost pension savings because of government and regulatory maladministration. As is my honourable friend, and that is to me, the member for Leeds North East, and many other friends and colleagues from across the House. This has always been a cross-party campaign for justice, and representative MPs from 6 political parties in this House support this proposed bill. And for the benefit of members who may not be familiar with the scandal, this is a sorry saga spanning nearly a quarter of a century. Equitable Life was considered the gold standard of the retirement savings world. Founded in 1762, the world's oldest mutual insurer, it was widely respected and considered a safe place to invest your hard-earned pension. It turned out that in the 1990s, the society was in fact effectively being run as a Ponzi scheme. Returns and bonuses were being funded by contributions from new members. The House of Cards eventually collapsed in 2000 following a House of Lords court case, which led to the inescapable conclusion that the society didn't have enough money to cover its commitments. The question inevitably rose as to how the collapse of one of the biggest and apparently safest pension companies could possibly have happened. While several inquiries were set up with varying and limited remits, It wasn't until the Parliamentary Ombudsman undertook a 4-year detailed investigation that we got to the bottom of what actually happened. While the Society was clearly mismanaged, the Ombudsman's 2,800-page report